Patrick Mahomes addresses criticism of flop versus Texans. I probably shouldn't have done that. As the Kansas City Chiefs advance through the NFL playoffs, they've once again found themselves at the center of officiating controversies, with Patrick Mahomes, their star quarterback, facing some criticism following a play against the Houston Texans, where Mahomes appeared to exaggerate contact to draw a penalty. He addressed the issue head-on during a radio interview with 96.5 The Fan in Kansas City. The controversial play. The play in question occurred during a scramble where Mahomes slowed down near the sideline. As he approached the boundary, Texans linebacker Henry To'oTo'o gave him a shove, and Mahomes tumbled out of bounds with his arms flailing. In the NFL's era of protecting quarterbacks, such a hit could typically draw a flag for a late hit. However, no penalty was called. Mahomes acknowledged that he probably overdid it a bit, admitting, "I probably shouldn't have done that." It's rare for a star quarterback to openly admit to trying to bait officials into a call. But Mahomes' honesty was a refreshing twist on what has become an often discussed tactic in the NFL. Questionable penalties on the Texans. While Mahomes took responsibility for one play, there were others in the game where the Texans were flagged for hits on Mahomes that appeared questionable. On a particular play, two Texans defenders collided while trying to tackle Mahomes. The hit led to a 15-yard unnecessary roughness penalty against linebacker To'oTo'o, though the contact didn't appear to be significant or targeted to Mahomes' helmet. Mahomes, meanwhile, explained that he was trying to avoid a hit from the defenders by sliding late to protect himself. These types of penalties have fueled the narrative that the Chiefs benefit from favorable calls, especially when it comes to their star quarterback. In a sport that prioritizes player safety, particularly that of quarterbacks, such calls are often contentious, as they leave room for interpretation by officials. The NFL's defense of the calls. While Mahomes downplayed the idea that the Chiefs are getting undue help from officials, the NFL's stance on these penalty calls has been more defensive. Former NFL Vice President of Officiating, Walt Anderson, explained the rationale behind the decisions, acknowledging the gray areas in these plays. Anderson explained that the league prefers not to let perfect be the enemy of good, which means officials sometimes make calls that may not be entirely clear in real time. Anderson defended a 15-yard roughing the passer penalty on Texans pass rusher Will Anderson Jr., arguing that it was difficult to determine if the crown of his helmet grazed Mahomes' face mask. The Chiefs benefited from this call, which resulted in an extended drive and a field goal that helped them secure a 6-3 lead early in the game. Mahomes' perspective on officiating criticism. In the interview, Mahomes emphasized his disinterest in focusing on officiating or criticisms of calls. "No matter what happens during the game, something is going to come out about it if you win," Mahomes said, acknowledging that there are always calls that players and fans may not agree with. However, he maintained that he trusts the officials to make the best possible decisions and that ultimately, the players on the field determine the outcome of games. Mahomes also pointed out that the Chiefs' victory over the Texans wasn't decided solely by officiating decisions, noting that many other plays contributed to the final result. His statement reflects his usual confidence in the Chiefs' ability to win regardless of external factors. Looking ahead, as the Chiefs continue their playoff journey, Mahomes' comments on officiating highlight the ongoing tension between star players, referees, and fans. While Mahomes' admission that he may have exaggerated contact to draw a penalty was candid, it doesn't change the broader conversation about how quarterbacks are protected and how refereeing impacts the outcome of games. For the Chiefs, this scrutiny will likely persist. But for Mahomes, the focus remains on leading his team to victory and maintaining his status as one of the league's most respected and talented quarterbacks. Could Patrick Mahomes' actions be the tipping point that leads the NFL to join the NBA and NHL in cracking down on flopping? We're diving into the controversial calls from the Chiefs-Texans game and what it could mean for the future of officiating in the NFL. Let's break it down. 1. The controversial play. What happened with Mahomes? During the Chiefs' 23-14 victory over the Texans, a particular play caught everyone's attention. With the Chiefs driving down the field in the fourth quarter, Mahomes scrambled to his left and pulled up as he neared the sideline. When linebacker Henry To'oTo'o made a light tap on Mahomes, The quarterback dramatically threw himself to the ground. Mahomes, in this case, seemed to be attempting to draw a penalty, which he didn't get. But that didn't stop Troy Aikman from expressing his frustration over it during the broadcast. 2. Troy Aikman's take: why he felt Mahomes was flopping. Aikman, a Hall of Fame quarterback, didn't hold back. He said, he's trying to draw the penalty. Rather than just run out of bounds, he slows down, criticizing Mahomes for trying to fool the officials into throwing a flag. It's a point that Aikman, and many fans, believe is a growing issue. We've seen it in other sports, like basketball and hockey, where players embellish contact to gain an advantage. Is this starting to creep into the NFL? Aikman thinks so. 3. Why this could be a bigger issue for the NFL. Flopping, or attempting to draw a penalty through exaggerated actions, is something we see frequently in the NBA and NHL, where players try to deceive the referees to earn free throws or power plays. But in the NFL? Not so much. There's no official rule against flopping. But should there be? With the NFL's rules evolving, especially around quarterback protections, Aikman believes it's time for the league to take a serious look at whether this behavior should be penalized. He's not alone. Many players and fans are frustrated by what they see as an overemphasis on protecting the quarterback. And this might be one of the unintended consequences. 4. The bigger picture. NFL's evolving officiating and rules. The NFL has always had tough decisions when it comes to officiating, especially when it involves quarterbacks. In the Mahomes play, a penalty was thrown for roughing the passer earlier in the game, a call that also sparked debate. Was there really any forcible contact with Mahomes during his late slide? NFL officials defended the call, saying they must throw the flag if there's any doubt about roughing. But Aikman believes both of these calls, the Mahomes flop and the roughing penalties, highlight a bigger issue with NFL officiating and whether it's too lenient with quarterbacks. Could the league take a page from the NBA or NHL in addressing these actions? 5. Will the NFL follow suit? Could we see the NFL crack down on flopping in the offseason? It's a real possibility. NFL's senior VP of officiating, Walt Anderson, said it might be up for debate and that the league's competition committee could revisit these calls, and perhaps even tweak the rules to curb this behavior. Flopping in the NFL may not be as prominent as in other sports. But if players like Mahomes start to push the boundaries, the league may have to decide whether this is something they want to actively discourage. 6. Conclusion. What's next for NFL officiating? Whether or not the NFL decides to crack down on flopping, the debate over officiating is far from over. If Mahomes' play serves as a wake-up call, we might see some significant changes in how the league handles these situations moving forward. So, what do you think? Should the NFL start penalizing players for flopping? Or is this just part of the game? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more NFL insights and analysis. Alright, my friends, get ready because today, we're diving into one of the most bizarre, confusing, and downright hilarious moments in recent NFL history. If you thought you'd seen everything in football, think again. Patrick Mahomes, the man who can seemingly do no wrong, may have just pulled off one of the slickest moves, and I'm not talking about one of his no-look passes. Nope, this time, it was a flop. Yes, you heard me right, a full-on flop, like something you'd see in a soccer game, but with a football twist. Now, I know what you're thinking. Wait, what? Mahomes? A flop? That's what I said too.